America, we know that bias remains. We know it. Whether you are black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or of Middle Eastern descent, we have all seen this bigotry in our own lives at some point. We've heard it at times in our own homes. If we're honest, perhaps we've heard prejudice in our own heads and felt it in our own hearts.
All right, I've already told you, as I welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show, we're live, 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. I've already told you how I felt about this lecture. And if I, God forbid, was a family member, and I'm not telling them what they should do or should, but I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have gotten up and I would have walked the heck out of there. I really would have. Joining us now is Crystal Wright, editor of conservativeblackchick.com and author of Con Job, How Democrats Gave Us Crime, Sanctuary Cities, Abortion, Profiteering, and Racial Division. And Crystal, right on cue, bingo, what this man did today at that memorial service was an utter disgrace.
It was shameful. It was a disgrace. It was repugnant. So you're supposed to be giving a eulogy of sorts at a memorial service for 5 black police officers killed by an armed black man, and you use it to vilify police. All police audience, predominantly police audience, you use that as the first black president of the United States of America as an opportunity to talk about racial profiling and bigotry. And he was standing up there, Steve, we all know. I don't know anything. What I do know is, according to the Washington Post investigative data, in 2015, of the 990 people killed by cops, 500 were white, about 500, and 250 were black. That's what I know.
But of course, the detractors will say, well, there's fewer blacks in the population. However, what the president, when he gives these bogus statistics that have no context, he never tells us that black males are 6% of the population, and they're 40% of the cop killers.
Right. Well, blacks represent 13% of the population, and over 52% of homicides, according to the Justice Department, have been committed by blacks from 1980 to 2008, 30 years. So the reason why they're more racially, look, I don't condone what happened in Minnesota and Louisiana. I'm waiting to get the facts. It looks really bad, okay? There are bad cops, like there are bad people, like there are racist black people, racist protesters, right? But the reason why blacks are racially profiled more is because we go around and we tell our young black men, some of us, wear a hoodie at night or in 100-degree weather. The only people wearing hoodies are doing bad things, guys.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you. And so, we're black males. I'm not proud to say this, Steve, but I go back to statistics and facts. Black males not only commit, I think, 6% of the homicides, they're 6 times more likely to commit homicides than white males, and 7 times more likely to be homicide victims.
Yes, by probably other black males for the most part.
So who do you want? Who do we want the police to racially profile? The white tourist from Denmark?
All right, let's get to the phones with Crystal Wright, and let's go to Philadelphia and say hello to Mike. Hello, Mike. I understand you're a police officer, sir.
Yes, I am, Steve. And first of all, I agree with you 100%. Had I been at that memorial service today, I would have picked myself up and marched right on out of there, even if it would have cost me my job or a suspension. This Cornell, is that who was on?
That was Quanell X, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I have something to say to him. First of all, I think you're going to see the first time ever in this country a police strike across the country if they say that in order for an officer to use lethal force, he can no longer just perceive it. And I'll tell you why. Many a times in my career, and I'm not a rookie, I've been on the job for 24 years. Many a times I'd be an only officer, I'd respond to a domestic or to a bar fight, and there'd be 3 actors, And I'd be yelling at these guys who are intoxicated, get up against the wall or get on your knees, put your hands behind your head, and they'd be disobedient. Now, there I am, 1 against 3. These guys are twice my size, muscular, half my age. What would you do?
And you don't know, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, and you must assume that they have a weapon if they're being non-compliant, and you don't know if they have a weapon. You must assume they do.
Well, if they do, they do. If they don't, it's the same thing, because I'll tell you why. A lot of people don't realize this. At any incident that a police officer responds to, there's always at least one weapon involved.
Lethal weapon. Yeah, well, the fists, yeah.
Yeah, he always has his own weapon, and most cops on duty are shot and killed with their own sidearm.
Oh, I see. You're talking about their own. Yeah.
So therefore, if I'm being approached and they're disobeying my command, because at this point they're under arrest and they keep coming towards me, I now do fear for my life.
Right.
I'm going to take them out.
Right. Crystal, I mean, he's describing a very legitimate situation that cops go through.
Well, look, we saw this happen in the Michael Brown case. Officer Wilson told Michael Brown to get out of the middle of the street. He didn't comply. He came around to the police vehicle, put his arm in the vehicle, tried to remove the officer's sidearm, as this police officer is just telling you, Mike. And then Michael Brown retreated and then came charging back toward Officer Wilson. So, I guess my point is that we never know what police officers are going to face when they approach a vehicle,
right?
When they respond to the scene, when they come to your house. And I think everybody needs to take a deep breath and remember, when you dial 911 and you're in a situation of life or death, the police officer is the first person to go in and try to help you. Now, so this is serious business, and we need to stop vilifying police officers. We really, I'd like all the killing to end. I'd like killing to end in black communities as well.
Bonnie, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, sir. Bonnie is next from Belleville, Texas. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome aboard.
Hi, Crystal and Steve. Glad to get on.
Thank you.
I have 2 quick comments and a question.
Sure.
If I can get it all in.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think these people, these marchers and troublemakers, they're being instigated by somebody to purposely start trouble, so they've got an issue, because that's what they want to do, is cause trouble. They're profiling the police. Any policeman with a uniform, they're profiling the police. And this remark that Quanell X tried to say that pigs doesn't refer to policemen anymore, that's wrong. I've seen the marchers saying pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon. So Quanell X is just part of this problem of marchers and troublemakers purposely trying to start trouble, and Obama is the head of it. Now, I'm sorry, but that's all I got to say. Could it be that they're inciting trouble on purpose, so they can keep things stirred up because they want trouble?
Well, Bonnie, thank you. Let me ask that of Crystal. Crystal, is there a method to Obama, his madness?
Oh, yeah, there's a message to his madness. And I write about this in my book, Con Job. For the last 7.5 years, Obama has become an apologist for thuggery and criminal behavior in the black community. And regardless of what the facts are, how many press conferences did Barack Obama give over the Trayvon Martin shooting? How many, Steve?
Several.
Well, I write about it in my book, at least 4.
Yeah.
Okay, at least 4. And that doesn't include the statements. Oh, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
Well, if you had a son, would he look like any of the slain officers that were killed by an unarmed black man? This is why, the black lies is why we have the racial tension, and why all Gallup polls show that racial division and animosity has never been higher.
Under Barack Obama. Let's go
recently.
quickly to Kathy from Flemington, New Jersey. Hello, Kathy.
Hi, Steve. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the comments that are being made right now. I was a little bit upset because I know that the Black Lives Matter to me is like a terrorist group, and it should be treated as such. And I don't know how they even stood for Obama speaking today. It was a disgrace. The NYPD I give them credit. They turned their backs
On de
against the
Blasio.
Mayor
Yeah, Mayor de Blasio. Yeah.
And I don't know how they couldn't do that, because to me, I don't know how they could sit there. It just was beyond me, but he turned that into a circus, as far as I'm concerned, and he's a terrorist president.
Well, I wouldn't call him a terrorist president, but I appreciate the call, Kathy. Thank you very much. All right, Crystal,
Well,
stay.
you know,
Go ahead,
Steve-
quick, 10 seconds, Crystal. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say real quick, you remember the police officers who were killed in New York?
Yeah, sure.
And President Obama, he didn't go to their memorial service.
No.
Did he send
By the way,
Biden? He didn't go. He didn't bother to go.
He called the families of the police shooting victims in Louisiana and Minnesota. Robert Spencer's next, director of Jihad Watch. He's got a great new book, very important book. We'll talk about it, and then Chris and I come back, take more calls. Don't go away. All right, folks, so we are back live, and Crystal Wright, editor of conservativeblackchick.com and author of Con Job, How Democrats Gave Us Crime, Sanctuary Cities, Abortion, Profiteering, and Racial Division, rejoins us. We're going back to the phones very quickly. Crystal, you know, we're focused on this, but we can't forget the threat of Iran, the threat it poses to the world through its terrorist cells, and you know, there's so much to worry about in this world.
Well, yeah, and we have a president who refuses to use the words radical Islam, right?
Right.
And he gave nukes to Iran, the mullahs. The mullahs who are siding with Assad and killing his people, and the mullahs in Iran who say they want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, along with, you know, a lot of other bad Muslims.
Yeah, Israel's the little Satan.
Right?
We're the great Satan. Anyway, that's a very interesting theory, and that is their religious belief, the mullahs and the religious ruling party in Iran, that if the world blows up, then they all, you know, that's their ultimate religious goal.
Well,
right.
then they're going to go get the virgins.
Right. All right, to the phones we go. 877 Newsmax. Jerry is in Oak Hills, California. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Steve. It's good to talk to you.
Thank you. What's
I'm
up,
very
sir?
thankful because, well, first I want to say thank you because you're the only one I watch anymore. I don't watch Fox News anymore. Just watch Newsmax.
Well, thank you very much.
And I wanted to say the problem is our president, he's a radical because he doesn't see the other radicals like Iran being this great threat, not just to Israel but to us. And he's allowing this to happen to us, to be where we're going to be vulnerable. He's broke us down, taken our military and dropped us off. And we do need a great leader that will come along and rebuild our military up and counteract with Iran.
Well, let me go to Crystal Wright on that. Crystal, how could he not? And I'm not mocking what Jerry said, but those who take that line of thought. And that's the common line of thought. But how could he not see it? He was talking to Iran before we even knew it, from day one almost, when he became president of the United States. And they're our sworn enemy.
President Obama ran a campaign and got elected on transforming America. He had great contempt, and he still does, for the beauty of America and what we were founded on. Liberty, justice, freedom for all. It might sound hokey, but if we look at the decisions he's made, as you point out, Steve, and your caller, giving Iran, who we haven't had diplomatic relationship with for over 30 years, a nuclear weapon. And the rationale was that, you know, America doesn't have to be the cop of the world. Iran's going to get a weapon anyway. We're just going to delay the time. You can't trust anything that comes out of their mouth. Muslims are the ones chopping off people's heads, like Donald Trump said, burning us alive, burning people alive in cages, and committing atrocities against Americans. It's Muslims. It's not the French. It's not the British. It's not the Christians. It's not the Jews. And I also want to end with this one final point. Barack Obama's contempt for America started when his first foreign policy speech was in Cairo to the Muslim world in 2009. I want everyone to remember what I just said. Go back, look at his speech. He blasted President Bush. He blasted America and said, hey, 9/11 happened, but you guys aren't all bad. Like, are you president of America? Or president of Egypt.
That certainly set the tone.
Right?
Thank you very much, Jerry, for the call. I appreciate it. Folks, we're going to come back. By the way, there are 2 credible threats against police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Several people have been arrested. They're looking for another suspect at least. And this is going on all over the country. Cops getting hurt and cops in danger. We'll come back with Crystal. We'll take your calls. We have Gimme 5. And you're not going to want to miss it, I promise you. It's more of George W. Bush. Don't go away.